Welcome in, One Nation, to another episode of A Thing or Two About a Thing or Two. I'm your host, TJ Winger. Today, joined by women's tennis player Alissa Anderson. Alissa, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Alissa, you were recommended by my grad assistant, Sam Bryce, and I wanted to pick your brain. Let's start with some of the easy questions first. What do you study currently at the University of Lynchburg?
I study exercise physiology.
So what made you want to go and study that, and what took you down that path?
Well, my mom is an emergency room doctor, so growing up I knew I wanted to do something in the medical field. I wasn't exactly sure what, but growing up playing sports all of my life, I kind of wanted to take that aspect and mix it with the medical field, so that led me to exercise physiology.
Awesome. And as you talked about your mom as a doctor, can you kind of talk about the time commitment that took on her, but then also what that meant for you and the rest of your family?
Absolutely. So yeah, growing up, my mom was at work all the time, and it was an incredible job. She would come home and tell stories, but the commitment that she had, it seemed like too much for me. And I know careers in the exercise physiology field aren't quite as time consuming or long in school. So that's actually why I wanted to go into exercise physiology.
Well, and on that note, exercise physiology, you were just accepted into some DPT schools, right? Okay, cool. Make sure I'm saying that right. You were just accepted into some schools there. Do you want to kind of talk about that process and some of the places you're looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. So coming in my freshman year to the University of Lynchburg, I told my advisor that I wanted to go to physical therapy school, and I was told you needed at least a 3.5 graduating. Wow. So that kind of, it didn't discourage me at all, but it definitely made me motivated to be a really good student. So all 4 years I've studied really hard and gone to a lot of tutoring and done my best. And so just recently I was accepted into 2 physical therapy programs. One of them is in Australia. Wow. And the other one's in Miami, Florida. So I'm waiting to hear back from probably 6 or 7 more places to make a decision, but yeah, that's what's going on right now.
That is awesome. Well, you're going to a beach.
Yeah.
I don't know where this place in Australia is, but going
it's close to a beach. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there you go. That's fantastic. That's super exciting. So after you go to physical training and physical therapy and you get that extra degree, what do you hope to do, and what do you hope your career kind of molds into?
So I've been thinking of if I want to work at a clinic for people or if I maybe want to run my own clinic, and that way I can be more flexible with hours or vacation or the types of patients that I want to see. I would really be interested in pediatric work or any athletes, but I did an internship over the summer at a physical therapy clinic, and I realized you see people from all ages, all demographics, and all fitness levels, and that was really interesting and kind of made me want to open up more to what I saw, like all kinds of people. So
you already have some experience and some knowledge of what goes on in the medical field, but why physical therapy? Why branch in that direction?
So when I was a senior in high school, I had already been accepted to the University of Lynchburg, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to study. And in about December of my senior year, my mom got really sick, was sent to the hospital for 2 or 3 weeks with double pneumonia. She almost died. It was a really traumatic event for everyone, and she was put into a kind of state of depression for a while, which I've never seen her in. And over time, she became better and almost back to the person she was. And when I would talk to her about how that happened, she said that her physical therapist was the angel from heaven. And that meant so much to me just because my mom's my role model. And seeing her go from a state of 0 to 100 like that, and knowing it came from someone like a physical therapist, which I already kind of had interest in, that was really my main inspiration to become a physical therapist. And that still rings true today, especially after my internship this summer. Going there and seeing their walls mounted with letters from patients, and there were always some sort of flowers or pastries brought by patients. Just you realize what a impact physical therapists have on their patients, and I really want to be a part of that.
That is awesome. So now let's go back to Lynchburg. Your exercise science degree going to be coming up here soon for you. Can you kind of talk about your experience with the department and some of your favorite elements and aspects of being a Hornet?
Yes. So I've really enjoyed the hands-on aspects of the exercise physiology department. Granted, last year with COVID, first semester, there weren't a lot of in-person classes, but the rest of my junior year and so far up into my senior year, we do a lot of hands-on things. We do a lot of practicals, taking people's blood pressure and heart rate while they're exercising. You wouldn't think it's very hard, but it is. Measuring their flexibility, things like that. That's been super interesting and never something that I thought I'd be able to do. So I really like the aspects this program has and how many options there are to do with it.
And then back to the DPT schools, what exactly, this is just my curiosity, what do you know about what goes into that field? Like, what are you expecting from, is it a year, 2 years? What are some of the tasks that you'll have on your plate? All those sorts of things.
So it's a 3-year program.
Wow.
It starts immediately after graduation, like 2 weeks after graduation. So you're diving right in, and it is a lot like college where there's a lot of rigorous courses, but at the same time, there are a lot of hands-on things because you'll be stretching out patients in the future, stuff like that. And then your 3rd year, you do clinical rotations. I think there's a 6-week rotation, a 12-week rotation, and then another 6-week rotation, all at different places, all around the country. You get to choose kind of where you want to go. It's not confirmed or guaranteed, but you get an idea of where you would want to go. So
that sounds awesome. And, you said you're waiting on, 6 more schools?
Yes.
That is awesome. So you're also in that exciting period where you're going to try to figure out what you're doing next.
Mm-hmm.
Pivoting towards some of the extracurriculars, I know you're really active on campus. You're wearing a SAC shirt as we record this. That's awesome. Can you kind of talk about what elements that SAC plays on campus, but then also some of your other extracurricular activities?
Yes. So to start with SAC, this is my 2nd year being the women's tennis representative. I've really enjoyed it because you kind of get to come all together, all of the sports on campus, and talk about what's important to each sport individually, and it really creates a support system for other athletes. We try our best to go to each other's games. Right now, we are working on a food drive where we collect donations and canned foods. We compete with other schools in the ODAC for that. That really promotes a lot of donations coming in because we all want to be the best school in the ODAC.
Sure.
But yeah, we do things to support other sports, and I think it's really cool because, we spend so much time with our own teammates, we never really know what's going on with other athletes, so this is a way that we get to see what other athletes are up to.
And on that note, we're filming this the day before a Code Red game. That's y'all's responsibility, right?
Yes, so tomorrow at, I think, 7 o'clock, the
Yep.
men's soccer team is playing on Schellenberger, so all athletes are expected to go to that, so...
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's just a cool idea, just having athletes being able to support one another at their different venues and everybody gets a hand in the mix. That's a really cool setting. And then what about some of those extra clubs and organizations that you're a part of?
So I'm also in the sorority Kappa Delta, and with that, I'm the president of Panhellenic Council, so I kind of oversee all Greek life on the sorority side.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm a statistics tutor, so I do that throughout the week.
Wow.
Yes.
Talk about a brainiac. That is not something easy to tutor people in.
No, actually, it's surprisingly, I'm good with it, but I'd be surprised the amount of people that have struggles with it. And I've served as a couple other things around campus. I'm in a couple honor societies. But yeah, for the most part, I spend a lot of time with my teammates and with school, and I have fun with that.
That is awesome. Well, Alyssa, it sounds like you do a little bit of everything here on campus, but I wanted to say thank you for carving out some time in your busy schedule to join the podcast with me.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of A Thing or Two, About a Thing or Two. Be sure to come back next week for a new episode. Till next time, we are signing off.